Beauty in the 1950s. Dainty and ladylike was the ideal. Most women used cream, liquid or pancake foundations, flesh-toned setting powder, blush, eyeshadow, eyeliner, mascara, and lip liner. Example of beauty in the 1950s. In the 1950s, the hourglass figure became popular once more and women were encouraged to be as busty and curvaceous as possible. Example of an hourglass body. Marilyn Monroe was an American singer during 1950s. Some liked her because she was sexy and beautiful. She also emphasized on the importance of beauty and sexuality. Marilyn Monroe once said, "Women's clothes should be tight enough to show that you're a woman, but also to show that you're a lady."
Beauty as perceived by the world. The beauty standards set by the society we live in have tremendous influence on the styles and trends we drawn to. Different cultures and time periods have different standards of beauty, which can influence by factors such as arts, media, and societal norms. Ultimately, beauty is in the eye of the beholder, and what one person finds beautiful may differ from another's perception. In this series, we will highlight some of the variety of beauty around the world. In New Zealand, tattoos are still vogue among the modern people. The unique culture still makes the list of weirdest beauty standards because of the way it's done. The beauty standards of New Zealand is having a full blue lips and tattooed on the chin called moko. In China, the ideal Chinese beauty standards for women are having a fair or pale skin, being thin, having large eyes, with double-fold eyelids and a goose egg-shaped face. Burma, Thailand. For them, a long neck is the standard of beauty. In this spirit, the longer a woman's neck is, the more beautiful she becomes. In addition, it is a proof of nobility and wealth of the family. For the Maasai women of Kenya, it's all about heirlooms. They pierce them and then stretch them out using materials like slices of elephant tusk. Young women in the Karo tribe of Ethiopia have intricate, swirling scars all over their bodies that form a lovely design intended to entice as experts who are mostly older women begin cutting scars on specified body parts in specific order starting at the age of 5.
Good morning, I am Lisa May 19. Today I'll be going to discuss the diversity of sexual behavior. Sexual behavior refers to the actions, thoughts, and feelings that relate to human sexuality and the expression of sexual desires and interests. So here are examples of diversity of sexual behavior. A homosexual, the first one is homosexual. Homosexual is what we call a gay. And the second one is heterosexual. Is attracted to people with different sex or gender. Ang heterosexual is straight ni siya. For example, lalaki is maibog siya sa babae. And then the third one is bisexual. So ang bisexual is pwede siya maibog sa babae, pwede po siya maibog sa lalaki. And then there are different sexual desires. There are two different sexual desires. The first one is spontaneous and responsive. So, spontaneous is kaning kung say makita nyo sa TV, like for example, na tanong it's PG. So, this is an example of spontaneous kanang na may something ma-feel. And then responsive is kanang mga physical touch. So here are examples of sexual behaviors. Another example of sexual behaviors. First is masturbation, oral genital stimulation or oral sex, or intercourse or vaginal sex.
So, my report is about sexual orientation, gender identity, and expression. So, I have here a genderbread person. So, what is genderbread person? So, it is an educational tool and concept used to help explain the complex and various nature of gender, sexual orientation, and other related concepts. So, there are 4 components of it. The first one, we have gender identity. So what is gender identity? This is who you are on the inside, how you personally experience your own gender. So the second one, we have gender expression. The expression. This represents how you express your gender to the outside world. So, and then, the third one, we have biological sex. Biological sex. This is about your physical attributes, such as your genitalia and chromosomes. And the fourth one, we have sexual orientation. Sexual orientation or the attraction. This is about who you are attracted to emotionally, romantically, and sexually. So there are 5 types of sexual orientation. We have heterosexual, which is you are straight. You are attracted to opposite of your sex. Then the second one, we have homosexual, which is same sex. You are attracted to your same sex. And bisexual, so both sex you are attracted to. Then pansexual, all genders you are attracted to. Then asexual is no one. You are not attracted to anyone.
So since she tackled about the genderbread, so today I will discuss about the SUBI, which is the sexual orientation, gender identity, and gender expression. So, kibaw naman tanong sa ng sexual orientation, which is about who we attracted with and who want to be relationship with. Then, ang gender expression is how a person publicly present their gender through their behavior and their appearance. Like for example, kung kanang they show their gender through their on how they dress code or they kanang unsa sila manuot, put makeups. Then ang kaniang gender identity is kanang unsa kay we know that kitang tanan kay naa man jud tay mga gender identity, men and women. There are some is kanang gay LGBT, or which is na kanang part sa mga LGBT. Sugi is one of the main references or term to describe about the LGBT. So, kabaw na matatanan no kung unsa man jud ang LGBT no. So, ang LGBT stand for lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender people. But kaning sugi kay dili lang kay kanang nag-focus siya sa kanang sa LGBT, kay we know that everyone has sexual orientation and gender identity. One of the example about the sugi is ang LGBT. Then ang kaning ang sugi pod kay dili pod nato ma-bold understanding about ang LGBT. It is because ang LGBT kay they show their kanang orientation or sexual orientation, identity, and their expression. But kung sa akong na-discuss ganiha is not only the LGBT, because kitang tanan kay naman sa mga gender identity and orientation. Then di ba ang kanang LGBT kay they attract their same sex or same gender rather.
So here are some pointers that will further explain SUGI. So first is human sexuality. Second is sex is simply the marker recorded in our birth certificates. Third is gender identity refers to one's inner sense or self of being a girl or woman, boy and man, other genders, all or neither. Fourth is gender expression refers to how an individual expresses his or her sense self. And last is sexual orientation refers to romantic and or sexual attraction to man or woman, both or neither. So first is kanang human sexuality is diverse. So kanang ang pag-sex is kanang lain-lain. And then second is sex is simply to marker recorded na kanang mataw ta is na maka-record na direct ang kanang ilahang status kanang mao na ni ang gitawag og birth certificate. And then third is gender identity. It refers to siya inner sense kanang ang imong inner sense kanang for example kanang babae ka nya kanang ganahan ka nang lalaki mao na siya tomboy, then kung nang lalaki ka ganahan ka babae mao na siya bayot. And then fourth is gender expression refers to how individual expresses her or her sense self. Man siya ang imong expression as a girl or as a boy. And then fifth is sexual orientation refers to romantic and sexual attraction to men to ma. So for example niya kay ako babae na naibog ko na niya, and then tagaan na ako siya og kanang love, care and etc. kanang basta kanang nag-ibugay mo sa usab-usaba mao na siyang sexual orientation.
Today everyone, we tackled about the sexually transmitted diseases. Okay, take a look at the statement below and determine fact or a bluff. So number 1, a person can get an STD from sitting on a public toilet. So it is bluff because dili siya it is virtually impossible for STDs to spread on a toilet seat due to the extremely minimal likelihood of doing so. Most sexually transmitted diseases do not last long enough outside of the host. In order to infect someone, an STDs would also need to infiltrate body fluids or an open wound. So, di siya mo, kanang di siya dili makatakod. Kaya itong kanang, kung day sa laki o babae siya mo takod or sa laki o talaki. So, number 2 is, people with STDs are easily recognizable. So it is bluff again because dili din siya ma-identify nimo kung naa ba siya sakit nga sexual transmitted diseases kung dili siya magpa-medical. Okay. So number 3 is oral and anal sex will not give a person STD. So it is bluff. An STDs in the mouth, throat, genitals, or rectum can affect anyone who has been in contact with an infected partner. So, kung ano jud siya kanang sa mouth to mouth or kanang ganing patay. Number 3, oral and anal sex will not give a person STD. So, it is bluff. An STD in the mouth, throat, genitals, or rectum can affect anyone who has been in contact with an infected partner. So, hindi siya tinuod nga di siya makahatag og not give a person is sexual transmitted diseases because through sa oral ug anal sex kay maka-give siya. So, wrong ni siyang not will give a person STD diya sakto tana. So, number 4, using condoms and other form of birth controls will prevent someone from getting STD. So it is fact. When used correctly every time, condoms are very efficient in preventing HIV, and many others STDs. Condoms offer protection from sexually transmitted illnesses. Number 5. HIV and STD are just for gays? It is bluff. Because HIV or STDs can affect anyone regardless of sexual orientation, race, ethnicity, gender, age, or where they live. So, ang HIV like is the sexual transmitted diseases, dili na din siya para sa mga bayot. Kaya kung, like example, imong uyab ng mayot, so, yan, ikuan sa tiyan nimo. So, mo to, nakuan ka niya, kanang na siya, nakuan na siya, na takdan siya sa bayot, nga naisakit atong sexual diseases. So, ikaw nga, gikuanan sa kasalaki, nakuanan po ka, natakdan ka nila. Nya, magkaanak mo, pwede po na nga, inyong anak, bisag wala pagbata pa siya, natakdan na siya tungod sa inahan nga naay sakit ana. So, maora day na.
Sexually transmitted diseases or STDs are infections that pass from one person to another through sexual contact. The causes of STDs are bacteria, parasites, yeast, and viruses. The organisms that cause sexually transmitted disease may pass from person to in blood, semen, or vaginal and other bodily fluids. Sexually transmitted infections or STIs are the root cause of sexually transmitted diseases or STD. Sexual contact is the major way they are spread bacteria, viruses, or parasites. Sometimes, these infections can be transmitted non-sexually, such as from mother to infant during pregnancy or childbirth, or through blood transfusions and shared needles. Sexually transmitted diseases can occasionally spread through non-sexual means. STIs, for instance, can pass to newborns during pregnancy or childbirth. STIs can be spread via sharing needles or blood transfusion. Example ni kay kanang sa kuan like patik, kung mag-share mo needles nga katong usa kay nay ingani nga kuan kay possible nga makatakdan ka. It's possible to contract sexually transmitted diseases from people who seem perfectly healthy and who may not even be aware of the infection. STDs don't always cause symptoms, which is one of the reasons experts prefer the term sexually transmitted infection to sexually transmitted disease. Sexually transmitted illnesses can be acquired from individuals who appear to be in excellent health and may not even be aware that they are infected. Experts prefer the phrase sexually transmitted infections over sexually transmitted disease. Sexually transmitted disease, because STDs don't always result in symptoms. Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Maria Bucao Lapina. I'm here to report to you the symptoms of STI. So, STI is sexually transmitted infections. So, mao ni siya ang makuha nimo nga infections sa imong partner through sexual contact. So, ang kaning imuhang partner is daghan na gani siya kanang experience through sex na nahinlahi na iyang mga ka-sex. So there's a possibility nga siya magka-kuan siya og kanang sakit like HIV inana. So there's possibility nga ikaw matakdan ka sa iyang sakit. So mao ni siya mga symptoms niya. First is sores or bumps on the genitals or in the oral or rectal area. So sa imong private part daw is naganing kaning mga samad or mga bukol. So next is second symptoms is painful or burning urination. So sa imong pag-ihi daw is sakit kaayo, dili na siya normal nga sakit. Di na siya normal nga sakit. Kanang ma-feel na dyan yung mga sakit na dyan siya ipangihi ni mo gani. Tapos ang imuang ihi is mura siya kanang tubig init sa kainit niya. Ano siya ang one of the symptoms niya sa STI. Next is discharge from the penis. Is understandable naman ni siya ang discharge from the penis, no? So next is unusual or odd smelling vaginal discharge. So minsan ni is kanang ang baho gani sa imuhang vagina is dili na siya ordinary nga baho, dili lang normal nga baho ra like kanang bahong nasi inana, kundi dili na gani nimo masabtan ang kanang baho niya sa imuhang vagina. So mao ni siya ang symptoms sa STI. So next is pain during sex. So during sex daw niya is dili na kakaka-feel og kanang kalami, kundi puros na kasakit ang imong ma-feel, diba? Well, diba ang normal nga sex is maka-feel man jud kanang satisfaction ana. So diri sa symptoms sa STI is dili na ka maka-feel og kanang kalami, kundi puros na siya ka sakit. So next is sore or swelling lymph nodes, particularly in the groin, but sometimes more widespread. So ang imuha daw ilukan or naana, mamaga or naay mga bukol-bukol gani. So pwede pa na siya mo kalat sa imuhang lawas. So next is lower abdominal pain. So ang imuhang puson daw is magsakit daw siya. Tapos, I'm not really sure aning lower abdominal pain. So, akong nasabtan is kanang imong puson is magsakit. Dili siya kanang normal lang nga sakit. Na siya ordinary lang nga sakit lang. So, mo ma-feel nyo gani is kanang di na siya masabtan nga kasakit niya. So, next is fever. So, hilanad. Ang imong temperature ani I think is nasa 40 plus ang imuhang temperature ng hilanat. So dili na siya kanang normal lang na hilanat. So lastly is the skin rashes diri sa imuhang kamot and then sa imuhang tiil. So mao niya mga symptoms sa STI. That's all. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Marchi Teresinas, and I'm here to report the causes of STI. So, STI can be caused by the following. Number 1, bacteria infections. Number 2, viral infections. Number 3, sexual contact with infected person. Number 4, unprotected sex. And number 5, multiple sexual partners. Number 6, sharing needles. And lastly, poor hygiene. So, first, let's talk about the bacterial infections. STIs such as chlamydia, gonorrhea, and syphilis are caused by bacteria. So, bacteria infections, ang mga STI sama sa chlamydia, gonorrhea, o syphilis, gikan siya sa bacteria. So, let's move on to number 2, viral infections. STI such as human papillomavirus or HPV, herpes, and human immune deficiency virus or also known as HIV are caused by viruses. So, viral infections kay mo ni siya ang kaning nga list kanang STI sama sa human papillomavirus, herpes ug human immunodeficiency virus kay gikan na siya sa mga virus. So, number 3, sexual contact with infected person. These infections are typically transmitted through sexual contact with someone who is already infected. So, kini nga infections kay typically mapasa ni siya through sa sexual contact sa usa ka tawo nga infected na daan sa STI. Number 4, unprotected sex. Unprotected sex can increase the likelihood of STI as the use of condoms and other barriers can provide a level of protection. So, unprotected sex o walay protection nga sexual. Ang unprotected sex kay maka-increase og chance nga maatakdan ka sa STI. So busa dili ka matakdan maggamit jud og condoms ug lain nga barriers nga maka-provide sa level nga protection. So number 5, multiple sexual partners. Having multiple sexual partners increases the risk of contracting an STI. So, multiple sexual partners, kung daghan kag mga sexual partners, maka-increase gyud kuan chance nga matakdan ka ana nga sakit, which is ang STI nga sakit. Number 6, sharing needles. Certain STIs such as HIV and hepatitis B can be contracted by sharing needles. So, pipila ka mga STI sama sa HIV o hepatitis B ang mahimong makatakod kung mo-share kag needles or dagom sa usag-usa. Lastly, poor hygiene. Poor hygiene practices such as not washing hands before and after sex can increase the likelihood of STIs. So, ang poor hygiene kay kuan jud din siya maayo. So, ang mga di maayo nga practices sa paglimpyo sama sa dili paghugas og kamot before and after sex kay maka-increase siya sa mot nga matakdan ka sa STI. So, kini siya tanan kay mao ni ang mga causes sa STI. So, that would be all and thank you for listening.
I am going to discuss the risk factors of sexual transmitted infection or STI. And anyone who is sexually active risk exposed to STI for some degree. Factors that may increase that risk include having unprotected sex, having contact with multiple partners, having a history of STI, anyone forced to have sexual intercourse or sexual activity, abusing alcohol or using recreational drugs like injecting drugs, and being young is also a risk factor of STI. And men who request prescription for drugs to treat erectile dysfunction. Erectile dysfunction, those people age 40 and above and have a diabetes and high blood pressure. Example of drugs they take is sildenafil or Viagra, tadalafil or Cialis, vardenafil or Levitra. These drugs help them to increase their performance of sexual. And those are the risk factors of STI or sexually transmitted infection. Additionally, certain STI can be transmitted from an infected mother to her child during pregnancy or delivery, emphasizing the importance of screening and treatment for pregnant women to prevent serious consequences in infants. And that's all. Thank you.